Donne-moi ton cœur, baby, ton corps, baby. Donne-moi ton bon vieux funk, ton rock, baby, ta soul, baby. Chante avec moi, je veux une femme like you. Pour m'emmener au bout du monde, une femme like you. Donne-moi ton cœur, baby, ton corps, baby. Donne-moi ton bon vieux funk, ton rock, baby, ta soul, baby. Chante avec moi, je veux un homme like you. Bad boy, tu sais que tu me plais, un homme like you. Hey. Donne-moi ton cœur, baby, ton corps, baby. Donne-moi ton bon vieux funk, ton rock, baby, ta soul, baby. Chante avec moi, je veux une femme like you. Pour m'emmener au bout du monde, une femme like you. I don't wanna love.
All right, cool. Let's get started, guys. So I wanted to go over AU today. It was a trade that I participated last week, and I feel like it would be a good backtest in terms of trade management, in terms of market cycles and structures as well. So let's dive into it. Let's do it top down real quick. I'm not going to do the high time frame. Well, let's just do it then. Hold on. So for me, high time frame, just very quickly, would be this show up in here. We can set this show. Also this punching this new low here. This is what's holding high time frame. Holding high time frame. And then you can see here there was a break of the structure. This was the intraday. So for me, then intraday was sitting up in here, right? Okay, intraday was this, but then we can see we broke it here, right? So then intraday is this. This is what's holding intraday for me now. Structure. Holding. Okay. And then the break was this. Bearish. And then if you look at it, the low, this is a new low, this is a new low. So this is what's holding intraday for me. So that's gonna be up in here. Intraday. Sorry, lower time frame. My bad. Lower time frame is up in here. Okay. So we're bearish times 3. Put that up in here. High time frame, intraday, and lower time frame were bearish. Nope. Okay. And then we can see this intraday really tapped into this supply here, right? This supply zone. Now we're sitting up in here. Don't know, maybe is it a weekly? Yeah, so there's a weekly candle. I want to say it's also, yeah, there you go. So it's also the monthly as well. Last push up. Now we can see we definitely tapped into about 50% of this monthly candle up in here. Okay, so that's how I'm seeing it. Now, what happened last week was, so let's see. Okay, so this was the intraday break. At the same time, this was also a lower time frame break as well, right? Because previously this was the lower time frame, then we made a new low. So this is what's holding it. Okay, cool. Now looking at this, we can see here there was an accumulation. So I got into a buy from back then. There was a up that intraday limit. There was something up in here. So there was an accumulation in here. We can see a bunch of just reaccumulations. Reaccumulation. Eventually, just following the market cycle, this turned into a destroy. Distro. So accumulation, reaccumulation, distro. Then what follows off the distro is a redistro, right? So here's the redistro. And then there's the break. Right now, same thing. So what's holding this is the extreme, which is my high intraday, so my lower time frame. And then where's my let me do this. Let's do that. Okay, so this area up in here is my lower time frame slingshot. Bearish. Let's see. And then wherever this is up in here is my bearish extreme lower time frame. Now at the same time on the intraday, right, this last push here. Hold on. Let me do this. At the same time, on this break, this was the cause of it. So not only is this the lower time frame extreme, but it's also the intraday slingshot. Okay, so let's add that lower time frame extreme and okay. Right now, before we get into the extreme, we must be trading and playing the slingshot first, right? So let's look at this. Now last week was last week first, yeah, first of Feb, right? So this is it. Now something I like to look for is I just like to look for the start of the week. So there you go. So this was the open of the week. This here, 10 o'clock. Weekly open. Okay. Basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking to sell anything above the weekly open, and I'm looking to buy anything below the weekly open. That's just something to get the discount of the discount and the premium of the premium, basically. Okay, so this is good. All right, so our point of interest is above that. Something else I'm going to look into is I'm going to look into where are we trading. And here we can see, all right, so this is a New York price action. My blue is New York. You can see there's Asian, which I'm not really concerned. There's also Frankfurt in here, but this is the thing. Not only that, this is also the news. So this is the news candle that we will be trading. So we know there's a lot of volume into this. Okay, so as I said, this point of interest is really, you know, that we have the news candle. There's volume. It's New York. It has it done anything? Well, yes, it's made a new lower time frame low. What else? It's also broken intraday, right? So this area is really looking good, which is where we'll be looking for up in here. And then, you know, here, so as you can see here, S is gone. So at the high of this is the line in the sand for me with the slingshot. Because after this, then my second point of interest will be the extreme. That's the only two I'm concerned with. Okay, so coming into this, right, let's look at what is our point of interest looking like. I think we was looking at that 3-minute was really good, right? So we've got, all right, so we can see there's that 3-minute up in here. And within that, we can also see there's a distro going on, right? I want to put a micro distro. There you go. All right, because then we can see the trading ranges. So by time, automatically. Just been a bunch of secondary tests really. Secondary test, UT, and then UTAD up in here. UTAD, and then eventually got the break here, right? So this is the boost. Okay, there's the booth, right? So let's look at, you know, what's in there. So definitely we can say this is the most volume candle. And if you was to just take the low and the high, this is what we've got. So we've got the 50%. And then we've got 80% of the 3-minute. What else do we have? Let's go down and let's see if we've got any like imbalance or anything like that. 1 minute. Okay, so we can see there's some sort of imbalance sitting in here. All right, but it's not really on the line of it's not really, what's it called, on the entry price, if that makes sense. It's not really under 50% or under 80%, but this is good because this is good because when you go when you look down, you know, at least now price has more of a reason to come down, you know, not only to come back into for the open, but come back into mitigate, we've got other reasons such as filling up the imbalance that price can come and do. So this is good. I'm still going to leave that there. And then now what I can do is, I know this is the line in the sand, right? So this is what's holding this the slingshot, isn't it? This is the highest point. So what we can do is we can throw a little bit of risk in there. And this is what I did, right? So throw a little bit of risk on that 50%, bringing it up to about 10 pips, covering covering the 80%. And then we've got 80% here to the high of this, okay? And then how I split that was, so I know this is my slingshot. Okay, I know this is my slingshot. My slingshot is 0.25% maximum, and then my extreme is 0.50% maximum. And what I'm going to do is I'll do it three ways. So if we can get a distro before the line in the sun, so I'll do it like this: 0.05, 0.15 and the limit if I can find a candle. In this case, I've got one, and then 0.05% after we set the limit plus reduce risk plus break even. Okay, so what I mean by that is, let me delete that. If price comes into this, don't really come into that 50 or that 80, but I've got a limit and then distributes, and then we get a boost. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna throw a 0.05% risk to go down. Okay, because then at least I'll be in. Or if price claps me out here, then I've lost 0.05, and then price comes up into my limit and then go down, then I'll be in from this. This is the loss. This is it. This is the line in the sand now. To which then I can go reduce risk, break even, and then when price gives us that pullback, I can add that remaining risk, which is 0.05 plus any reduced risk or break even to it to go down. Okay, that, or the other thing is price comes up, distributes, I enter with 0.05, claps me out, comes into my limit, activates it, but claps me out, then I am down minus 0.20%. Okay, that's something that I can live with, because then when I come, I'm going to be looking for the same thing. Okay, that's 3 boxes now. All right, distro up in here, limit, and then distro or redistro to go down with it. Okay, so that's the plan of action. And then let's see, right? So this, I'm going to go and I'm going to put 0.15 sitting in this. Right now, I want to do 0.15 divided by 2. Which is 0.15% is 0. Okay. And then we're looking for at least to make this new low, which is here, right? No, so whenever this low will be done, well, technically it will be here. Right, that's what the new low is. Okay, so let's fast forward. So this is what I have done so far. Okay, so there's the break. Right, and then we're looking to at least go down to this low here, right? To make a new low. Okay, so let's see. Right, so price is coming up into that area now. So now this is where I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put first. 0.05, and the limit is 0.15. And then before limit 0.05 again. So that one we need to get a booth from the distro. Okay, so now I have an alert. Let's just look for a lower time frame booth or distro coming up, right? Okay, so there's Asian, not really doing anything. Frankfurt open. Now we're getting something. So for us, we will need to wait for this. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 drive, something like that to get this entry to go down with it. Okay. So I believe within that there was also okay. So within this now we will get in another distro, all right, but we'll need to see. So now we got a booth, we come out outside the trading range and see if you can find something to at least go down. Or ideally, as I said, we'll still need this to break to really come back with. So what they can do is they can do something like that, break, and then we can look for point of interest number 1, and then point of interest number 2 to go down with it. All right, so yeah, let's see. Okay, so there's the booth. All right, now we'll be looking for, as I said, because this is a slingshot and then this is the MC now. Distro, if you want, you can put a little bit of risk up in here, but ideally we can look for distro as well. Okay, so we're all getting something. We've got the booth. Now let's just see what the next day brings. Still Asian, I'm sorry, still New York. Right, now we're coming back up into this. Nice candle. 3 minutes seems very nice. Okay, so if we can go in for a little something up in here. All right. Let's just see how much from the 50% would be. About 5 pips. Well, 6, at spread, and then you've got about 3 pips up in here. Okay. And you can even go down. Like that. All right, but what I'd say is, I'm gonna take you off that. All right, and then I'm gonna put half of that. 0.25, half of that. 5%, 0.5, sorry. And then again, same thing that can come down with it, right? So now why am I doing that? Well, because we've tapped into this slingshot, we've got a booth, and then this is it for me now, right? And again, I've left 0.025 because then we can come up into the extreme or we can distribute. And I want to have a little capital to play with. Yeah. So let's see. All right, so there's the 50, and then boom, that got collapsed. Where did that come to? Well, that clubbed the SC. Right, came to that 3 hour, yeah, came to about that 3 hour extreme. Okay. And I think that we were looking at that 255, isn't it? was something I can't remember what it was now. Anyways, let's just say we're down this, right? So we're down under 0.025%. That's what we're down with, right? I think it's top. Yeah, there you go. But I think that would have been too much of a waste of no. Cool. Anyway, so that's it. But now, is this trade invalid? No, because this is the line in the sand, right? Price can do all of this, can come up, and then that's what we're looking for. So there's that. So now I'm just going to be really looking for like a nice distro. So you can see we had the right idea, but just price, price not really giving us anything. And this was good. It was Asian, sorry, it was New York price action and everything. So yeah. I mean, it all depends also to your risk, because you could have just had, had your stop loss up there if you wanted to. Break even opportunity definitely. But anyways, regardless, so there's Asian kicked in, and then Frankfurt. This we was looking at something like this because we can see both Asian high and Asian low got clapped, and then there's the Frankfurt. And we was really looking at this area because this is now what's holding the order flow after making this new low, right? But as you can presume, it's clapped through, right? This is when news, so this was one day before news. Yep. The 4th, which would be the next day, Friday, it would be NFP, right? And then, so this is what happened. So this is when I got triggered, 2:30 Thursday. This 50% here got activated, right? For me, I was actually on 6 with my broker. It was 660, just slightly lower than him. And as soon as I saw this, I went ahead and I closed. So this was minus 0.02%. Okay, I paid that loss from wherever that was, so wherever that loss that was up in here, and then I paid myself with this drop here. Simply because when we was watching NU had obviously trading higher, and I didn't like the fact that we had accumulated in here. So because we did, it was a clean accumulation. That, and not only that, we did see a clean distro up in here, right? So we know distro plus accumulation, jump across the creek, the whole thing turns into a reaccumulation. And let's not forget, we are also trading at SC, so this could reaccumulate to go up into the extreme, right? So this is the thought that I had with it. At the same time, I just paid myself this loss. I went to break even as soon as we saw this, and then I left it. I didn't close it. I didn't do anything. I just left it because I'm overall bearish, as you can see. And then I was just gonna wait and see what tomorrow was gonna bring. Okay, but this week I was break even because, as I said, I already paid myself for that loss that I took here. I was break even. I didn't have anything to lose. I was break even for the week. I was break even on this trade. I had nothing to lose, but a lot to gain if we was to go with this direction, which is what the price action is telling me. Right now, overall, so as I said, break even at this got activated. Okay, at the same time, when I went to break even here, I deleted this order. Okay, and then now just watching it, right? Now a couple of things you can see is low accumulation, reaccumulation that helped us in here. The only thing, this could do something. We can see the shakeout here, but this is Asian. Okay, so this will be a target. So this is where I'm going to be looking to take some partials, and then overall just look to take out some more in here. Right, so now this got activated. Let's actually put this in our journal, right? So this third Feb, third February. I have a close date, yeah, and this is AU. Okay. USD. And the risk would be 0.015, but remember, so we from this distro we've only used half of this 0.05. So you could have added this into this to carry forward, or you couldn't have. Let's just say we did, but as I said, this would be under trade management in real life, right? So let's just get the right zeros. 0.05 divided by 2, 75%, and then we have those 10 pips. Okay, so this was 0.88, and the short entry price was let's make this 160. And we're looking for first partials to be around here 10 to 1. So we can round it up to 600. There you go. Okay. So stop loss. Actually, we should do. Let me do this first, right? Because this would have been a limit I would have set before. Okay, so this would be how I do in real life, right? So this is I think I was previously. So when we had this break here, 28th of Jan, let's just say the 1st of, yeah, let's just say the 1st of February, I was looking at this. 1st February 23rd, so AU, don't really think. Okay, so structure, we're bearish. Intraday, we're bearish. Lower time frame, we're bearish. Order flow on the 4 hour, I believe it's, yeah, it's the same. And the 1 hour is the same as well. Bearish, bearish. Where we trading? Lower time frame ST. Is this a structural point of interest? No. No. Okay, break of interest, break of structural point of interest. Yes. Global time frame and intraday low. Move. Yes. No, we don't have that. So reason we don't have that yet is because when we place the limit, this we won't know if we got a booth or not. Okay, so this is not week off. Yes, we got a micro one. Full volume candle. We've got a 3 minute in there. Price level. I don't think there was anything special. Bristol Road, silver 10 to 1. Imbalance, yes. Divergence, we can't tell yet. Session, London, crossover. Control pullback. Well, yes, we're getting that control. We're getting that control pullback coming into it, right? Am I willing to let go? Yes. Open position. No. Exit price stop loss above. Also line and this flat at the extreme. Hold invalidated slingshot price of slingshot. Capital at risk 0.15. New balance. So if we do, I think this one already close that. 49962. 49962.0. Total portfolio. 15 news. Yeah, so we've got NFP Friday. Pro trend, so this is pro times 3. And then that's it. Okay, so we come back in that. Yep, there you go. Okay. So this is this. Oh no, so yeah. Yes. So this here is 75 bucks. Okay, cool. So this is done, right? This I haven't done to psychological because it won't be true reflection for this one. Right now we come back to the journal because the trade is activated now. So exit price where we'll do that one the same like this. So, and then we don't know that one yet. Right now the signal, this was yeah. So lower time frame slingshot distro type 1. Okay, because we were trading off the U type. 50% of the micro side, the lower time frame slingshot. That's for the lower time frame below. Session, you can see this is at 2:30, so literally the heart of New York. So London crossover, pro trend, yes. I believe we ain't got one on this. So how do I do that? Day of the week was Thursday, wasn't it? Yeah, Thursday the 3rd. Thursday, time for setup. Okay, so time for setup. This whole thing took after this low here 6 days and 4 hours. 6 days, 4 hours. Duration in trade. Well, we don't know that yet. Image before. This as well. Yeah, do something like that. That's my interest. And I'll put it much before. Okay. Duration in trade now. So let's let's say we have activated. Now this is where we had end of New York. We're getting into Asian. And then again, for me, it would still be waiting for this to break because we made that high, this new high. This is what's holding it, right? Nothing yet until we break this. I mean, nothing, but in terms of trade management, you can go ahead and you can go to reduce risk or at least break even. I personally went to break even on this one. And then there's your break even. It was just a couple of pipettes underneath the entry. There you go. So there's the break even, and then I think we can see we broke that. Yep, so there you go. So Frankfurt open, and then Frankfurt at the same time we've had London as well. Now, could we have got into something? Let's see. Okay, so we took out those Asian lows. We made a new low. Let's see what we could have got. So we punched in, made a new low here. No clear sign of like redistro. Nothing that I would have taken. Yeah, let's see. So this, what time is this? Okay, so we're coming up to NFP now. There's NFP, and then NFP would have hit your, what's it called, your TP of 10 to 1, sitting right here. Just the reward. Okay, so now this took how long? 20, so I'm gonna put 24, so one whole day. Duration 24 hours. Cool. And then now it's just a matter of just waiting for it to come back up. Okay. We can see there was this reaccumulation that price traded out of, accumulated in here. About 50% of this whole thing really. Yeah, so we can see 50% of that start to accumulate and then bringing price up to where it is now. Yeah, so there you go. Now this is all well and good. So as I said, for me, I'm holding this with a pinch of salt. But now let's just say, you know, if you were to hold it down to here and if you didn't close that 1 to 10, I mean, you can definitely look to take partials. So let's do that and let's train our eyes and our emotions when it comes to trade management. So partials. 1. Let's just say we're taking okay, cool. Yeah, let's just say we're taking about this button. Let's just say we're taking about so the first one will be here for me. Will be first. And then second. Yeah, let's just say we're taking about, I don't know, half of 20. Let's just say we're taking 10125. Okay, so this is currently sitting at 400 times 405. We got um, social output, meaning change full function system 50. Okay, right here. Okay, and then we've got the rest already now. Okay, that's what we got. 50. Total profit so far is going to be time and trade. So we've got that from up here, which is 4 hours. And set up 24 hours confirmation present. So we've got what happened. Let's see. Structure. Um, and that's what we like to look for 21. Yep. Okay, so there you go. Now, in terms of the next thing, so we still have half of this Okay, because we had one limit here and one limit here. So we still had half from the 80 plus the 0.05 weighting in here, and then plus the break even, okay, to add up here to go down with it, okay. So we'll see, but this is how this was from last week. The last week it gave us a 10-to-1, which is what I like to backtest, right? Every single week I've seen that the market at least gives you a 1 to 10 on any of the majors. Okay, it gives you 1 to 10 on any of the majors, and then I guess with last week this was it here, and it was clean, right? But still with this, we're in this distro 1, 2, 3 drive. We still needs to come back and mitigate about 50 to 80%. So let's just see if this week we can get something to go down with it. But yeah, but that was it this week, and again we've done all the back testing with that. We'll just have to wait and see what's happening. So far this is sitting at 50.62 is what we took. 62. This is 0.11% growth. And then we'll see what the rest. We still got 75% of the volume sitting. So basically 32 and 32 8 1 is what's sitting in here now. Okay. $75%. Volume 25%. Okay, cool. So let's see. And overall, we're looking to eventually go and make a new intraday low, which will give us a 20-to-1. All right, so that's that. As I said, we took some loss in here. With maybe this one here or this redistro that we were trying to look at. Nothing wrong. We did tap into the supply that we wanted. We did get a boost from this, and we did have a nice distro that we would trade out of, but nothing much. And then even if someone did get this somehow, maybe I don't know, 50-80% of this, we had enough time because we even broke here to go to reduce risk or even broke even, right? So enough time for us to do that. Eventually we jumped the crease, tapped into this. The only reason I had the limit sitting here was because of obviously this was my part 1, my part 2, and then this now my part 3. We tapped into this. This was the line in the sun for me. This is where I won't be looking to trade the slingshot anymore. We respected that, and then eventually we just went and gave us a nice 10-to-1. All right, so that was it. I'm gonna put this up, and the Discord is also, you guys can have a look and back to this.